In the snow, exactly. Well, you know what, we'll just get started. And Alan, join us here in a second. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our meeting here today. We are missing a couple of our commissioners, but actually one's on his way in just a second, but we're going to go ahead and get started to get things back on schedule. So with that, we'll look at our first order of business, which is the approval of the minutes. So is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Minutes have been approved. On to the next order of business, resolution number 29974.
Yes, Commissioner, this is consideration of a licensed facility use agreement for the annual, or sixth annual, Jiggle Jam event down in the Crown Center area, and part of which is on Park and Boulevard property. You have a memo from Shannon Dooley that outlines the scope of the involvement, and Shannon's here. I know she has a guest also.
Thank you, Mr. McHenry. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Memorial Day weekend, Jiggle Jam, 6th
All right.
annual. Kelly Wenzel is here if you have any specific questions. This festival continues to grow and grow, and about 25,000. So
Wow.
it's a 2-day event. So Kelly, do you want to come and
Yep.
promote Jiggle Jam?
Well, we just want to thank the Parks Department for being so supportive of this event as its incubator, trying to get something for families. And we've proved to not just be Kansas City-based, we're regionally attracting everybody. And we're excited to say the week of the festival, we are going to have a national article showcasing Jiggle Jam that will go in papers all over the country. So we're pretty excited because there's nothing like it. And we continue to need the support until we can get those sponsors to really heavily jump on it, because we want to keep costs low. And the only way to keep costs low is by getting sponsors and support from people like you. So,
Very good.
thanks.
Right, thank you. Any questions, comments? This time? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to pass the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
So motion is seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29975.
Good, Commissioner, we just went through 3 months of summer, now it's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And there's the Irish Fest, so talk about that one.
Kansas City Irish Fest just celebrated 10 years. To celebrate our 10-year, we had 6 inches of rain, because our first year we had 9. But we have proven successful to make sure we have a reserve fund, to make sure on years like that it happens. It was still a great success. Yeah, we lost a little money, but we're not concerned. It's still 90,000 people still somehow showed up, even though we were a rain out Friday night. It still continued because the hotels are full. They're totally sold out on Saturday evening. That's about 2,500 hotel rooms total. Tracks 46 states, 7 countries. It's third largest in the country. Just got back from Ireland visiting with the Prime Minister himself. We're really happy about this, and you guys have continued to support us. So this last year, I want to make a note that the festival decided to jump on and help the parks. We saw a need that you need labor, and we have volunteers. So we adopted Washington Park last year. Did lots, 2 work days, full work days of 20 to 30 people showing up, mulching and pruning and doing things to that park we would like to see improvements on, because we feel like it's our park too. And so we were happy to do that and excited to do that and get a little publicity out of it so we can encourage others like ourselves to do that. So you've been a great support, and we appreciate continuing it.
Very good. Great.
Thank you.
What do you anticipate attendance to be this year, weather permitting it?
Weather permitting, this thing just keeps growing. I would just be happy if it stayed the same or less. Last year, everybody decided to show up on Sunday, so Sunday was a bit of a nightmare for me, but everybody else had fun.
Okay.
So we would anticipate the same. Upwards, we've had closer to 100,000. It all depends on weather. Somehow the lineups come into play, and we're doing some unique marketing things. So.
Very good. Great. Any further questions, comments?
The only comment is that this is bringing tourist dollars and income into the city and revenues. And we never want to forget that all of these things that we sanction and cooperate with do good things for the city, and we thank you very much for your assistance.
Thank you.
Wish you the best of success
Thanks,
this year and
us
many
too.
years to come, so
Yeah.
thank you. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 29976.
Yes, Commissioners, another successful event that occurs in one of our parks, also the 6th year, and that's the Chalk Walk up in the northeast area. Another item that Shannon is handling at the staff level, and she also has a guest, and so Shannon will tell us about Chalk Walk.
Yep, Chalk Walk's 6th annual. Rebecca, you want to come on up? And Rebecca's with Northeast Arts KC. And we've got Chalk Walk coming up to the concourse on April 27th and 28th.
Yeah, great.
Well, as you just said, it's our 6th year. It's a wonderful neighborhood event. It's a great venue. We have the most perfect space for doing a chalk event. It's actually on concrete. It's using the concrete canvas of the fountain there. Shut the fountain off. Huge space, 100 by 150 feet of concrete. So we transform that into very colorful spaces. We usually get about 50 to 60 artists. Then we have families and friends, people who come out, kids, and then they sort of chalk in between the major squares that we have. They also chalk, and we have actually a designated kids area, but they wind up chalking just about everywhere. We have the cow that you've provided for us in the past, which is a nice three-dimensional object to chalk on. We have a huge chalk van, a van that's been painted with chalkboard paint. So if you're, challenged at actually getting on your hands and knees and chalking something, you can actually stand up and draw on it too. So we even have a few new blackboards that we introduced at the Flower Lawn and Garden show. So you can actually chalk on a blackboard. So it's not just on the ground and on the concrete. It's just a really nice event. We get our food catered for our artists. We encourage the neighborhood to come, the various neighborhoods, the 6 neighborhoods in the Northeast, and of course the Kansas City area to show up for this event. People bring their picnics, they have a good time. We have Kansas City University Medicine and Biosciences as one of our sponsors. We provide them a tent, and then they do health screenings for us there. So besides our tent and having some local entertainment there, we have them there. So really, it's just kind of a nice mix. So it's a wonderful weekend. Last year, we experienced a little bit of rain. Cal got a little bit wet on that Sunday. So Sunday was pretty much a wash. But it's really incredible to see as many artists come out that they do. And when it does clear up, sometimes they come back and check the art and maybe doctor it up a little bit. We've had that happen in a few previous years where we might get rain on a Saturday night. They come back on Sunday. It's performance art, it's temporary art, it's kind of like music. You hear it, it's gone, it's wonderful, you get a good feeling. That's kind of like what Chalk Walk is all about.
Fantastic.
So we enjoy putting it together.
Oh, great. Any questions, comments? It's a great event. I stopped by a little bit last year, and it's a great venue too up in Concourse and
Yeah, it's a
Northeast.
perfect place.
It is
really
fantastic
is.
up there, and so great. We wish you the best of luck this year, and
Okay.
hopefully no rain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
there you
right.
go.
Take some more of those. Yeah.
Very good.
Pass them out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any? Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 29977.
Okay, one more item. The Universal Soul Circus, scheduled for next month here in Sewell Park. Again, you have a memo from Shannon outlining the details of this particular program, and I know Shannon has another guest.
Yes, one more, then you don't have to see me anymore. Albert Anderson is here representing Universal Circus. They were here in Sewell Park last August. Was a success. Going to try April now, so we'll see how that goes. Albert, do you want to talk about the circus?
Sure, thank you. Commissioners and staff, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The circus has been around for almost 20 years, and this is its 3rd year here in Swope Park. It's been in Kansas City more often than that, but this is the 2nd consecutive year being here. It's a tenant event, and it's really an international circus because the performers come from all over the world, places like Cuba, Ghana, Tobago, Ethiopia, all over the world. And it combines, they call it the hip-hop circus because it uses that type of music and other things. And if you pat your feet or clap your hands, you find yourself getting involved in it. And one of the real interesting things about the circus is that we find a lot of fathers who are bringing their children to the circus. So often people talk about the lack of African-American men being involved in their families. Well, if you come to the circus and see what's happening there, you see a lot of fathers who are bringing their children to the circus. The circus this year is expanded, and they have 2 circuses. And and they'll be doing over 500 appearances across the country. That's an awful lot of wear and tear, not only on the personnel, but others involved as well. Kansas City has been a real good market for them. The tent holds about 2,000 people, and it's really, truly a family affair. I heard someone speaking a little bit earlier about tourism and the dollars that happens. Because the circus is not able to go into all cities, we have people who are coming in from Wichita and from Omaha and other places like that, in smaller communities, coming into Kansas City to be a part or to be a part of the circus. So if there are any other questions, I'd be more than willing to try to answer those for you.
So last year you were in August and you moved up to April. Reason being? Just curious.
Well, the reason being,
I just want to make sure that that's right.
yeah, the reason being is that because they added all these other dates, it was not an afterthought that Kansas City would be moved to that April date. But part of it also was to try to get more children involved with it as well during the school year. So I don't think that this is going to be a permanent date. They are planning on coming back to Kansas City in the future, and I think they're going to return to the summer after this year.
Great.
There's going to be 4 days of shows with 9 total shows.
Okay. Any idea of what the attendance might be?
Well, the show normally sells out. The circus normally sells out, and like I said, with 2,000 seats, it's one of those things where you really have to get your tickets. Also, there are going to be some tickets going to be made available to the park department for things that for some of your young people and others to attend as well.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Great. I wish you the best of success on
Thank
this,
you.
this event as well. And thank you again for having it here with us and in our parks. We really, truly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
It's in motioned. Would you want?
Second.
And seconded. Very good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Resolution passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, resolution number 29978.
Yes, Commissioners,
In
this is
favor
a-
of this one.
This is a resolution for no dollars. You have a memo in your packet from Forrest. In essence, what this is, Commissioner, is we're well aware that when the half-cent sales tax was approved by the voters last August, which took effect in January, we kept the levies in place and then just didn't assess any dollars to them. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Forrest.
I think you covered it very well.
Are we sure about the recommendation here? You sure just don't want to try to back to this?
You're going to get us in all kinds of trouble.
I
Pardon me,
know.
what's your question again?
I was going to say, you sure about your recommendation here that you want us to take it down to 0? I just want to make sure.
I think that's prudent.
Okay, very
yes.
good. So with that, I will ask for a recommendation to approve the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion is second. Very good. Any further discussion?
So this is something that we'll be doing every single year that we have the park sales tax?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know if we have to do this every year. Maybe you can
Yeah,
answer.
what it is, this goes to City Council Finance Committee tomorrow for their approval. And the reason that it's done this way is so we didn't change the charter.
Yep.
The charter still allows for this. So, and actually, this was in
So,
the
yeah.
ballot language when we went to the voters there. We
Right, we'd do
would
this.
have the assessments, we just wouldn't bill, and then we'd do sales tax in lieu of it, basically.
So we do
So
it
we
next
do,
year?
annually we will look to
We
do
would do it
this.
every year, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it every year, yeah.
Any further discussion? Anything else? Questions? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 29979.
Yes, Commissioner, change order number 2, Tony Aguirre Community Center renovations with the Larison Construction Company. You have a memo in your packet from Travis that outlines the details. He's here if you have any questions.
Any questions of Travis at this time?
Yeah, could you explain this a little bit for me? I read your note in the packet, but I just wanted a little more explanation.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yes, it's pointed out in the memo that there's some additions and subtractions in that change order. So the net change order is $34,210.74. And they had a credit for the building automation system substitute. They got some additional monies back for that, and they also deleted some painting down at the facility, and then you can see there's a list of added work there as far as pool gutters and that sort of thing. But the net of the additions and subtractions is at $34,000.
34. So we got rid of those two things, and then we've added
Well,
these other things.
didn't get rid of it, just substituted out the equipment.
Okay.
Bob Lawler, our architect, he's been working to make sure that our building automation systems are compatible so that they all talk to each other whenever we put in new systems in buildings, that they're all compatible systems, so.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
When's this work set to be completed?
This work should be complete. I don't think it was in the memo, but this work should be wrapped up by this fall.
Okay.
So,
Great.
That's good to see this time.
All right, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
So motion is seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 29980.
Yes, Commissioners, this is the item that was added after we originally put the docket out last Friday. But I also mentioned this is an item that was brought at one of our closed sessions earlier by Mr. Abbott.
Yep.
Dealing with a sliver of land, a small piece of property at 25th and Paseo, part of the Beacon Hill development. We would recommend approval. You have a memo from Steve. If you have any questions, and like Steve always does, you got a map over there if you want to look at the map.
I think we discussed this, and anybody want to see the map from Steve? He's holding it, so just.
We've seen.
Yeah, come on, show us the map.
The reason for this resolution, Commissioners, is the Housing and Economic Development Financial Corporation needs evidence that this board is willing to accept this piece of property at no cost. I showed this to you back a couple weeks ago in closed session. It's this area in darker green. These two lots down here I inquired about, we include that into the acquisition. Well, it turns out that the Beacon Hill neighborhood wants to retain those as part of their homeowners association tracts for like a community gardens or however they want to use them. This piece, after further research, was put into the parks system in 1997, before my time, so that's no longer MoDOT, it's actually parks. But this is the piece that we're looking at. It's a 1.2 acre parcel, and as I said, this is not a typical way to do an acquisition or a deed acceptance. The HEDFC needs evidence from this board that you're willing to accept it. So we put two conditions in the recommendation. One was an acceptable Phase 1 environmental assessment. So if we say, yeah, we're going to accept it, and then it turns out to be a nasty site, we can back out of it. And a general warranty deed, no quit claim.
Great, we like that contingency. Very good. All right. Any further questions, Steve? Comments? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. You okay with that? Very good, resolution passes. On to the next order of business, 29981, which is the acceptance of gifts.
Yes, Commissioners, one gift for the Friends of the Fountains, recommend acceptance.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the gifts?
So moved.
All right, so is there a second?
Second.
Is there a motion second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Very good. Motion passes. How do you want to handle the next one? I'm going to abstain from this one.
Okay. Resolution number 29972, consideration board approval facility use concession agreement with Guadalupe Center.
Yes, Commissioners, we would recommend approval.
This was on before, and we didn't have a quorum, so this is just a repeat. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Or is there a motion to approve?
I
Pardon me.
move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, on to the director's report.
Well, Commissioners, the first thing I want to do is officially welcome Terry Reinard to the Parks and Rec team. I think individually everybody's met her, and she's in, of course, the deputy director position, so it's her first time to sit up here at the table and participate in the board meeting. And if you have any comments, Terry?
Yep, just glad to be back and appreciate the welcoming I've had from everyone, including Mother Nature, so. Appreciate that.
Yes, coming from Florida, had to be a shock.
Very good. Well, welcome. We
Happy to be back.
Thank you. Thanks,
glad
Terry.
you're part of the team.
Major construction, Travis?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Just Just one set of photos up there. If you haven't been down to the Greg Kleiss Community Center yet, ask Mark, he needs to work on his cleanup down there a little bit. We got big things like, hot tubs laying in the middle of the floor and ductwork hanging everywhere, but this is all in the wet area. This is what's under construction down there. So this is what's going to be wrapped up by the end of April. And we got, a May 1 opening date of this whole area over there. So we got new locker rooms going in. The steam rooms will be out on the deck. That last photograph is of the portion that'll be outside, where that hot tub actually being kind of an atrium area on the outside there. And N.W. Rogers is the contractor on that job. Things been going along pretty smoothly thus far. Frank Gibbs, project manager down there. It's a little over $600,000 project that, like I said, we'll have wrapped up by the end of April. So, any questions on that one?
No, sir.
The other issue that I wanted to touch on just briefly, I know we got a couple of emails on this week, had to do with the impact of the sequestration on our grant projects. And I had contact with Dan Nick with MoDOT and with Elizabeth Walrick with SEMA, and they're the two administrative agencies that administer our federal grants. MoDOT administers the federal highway grants, and SEMA administrates the FEMA grants. And both agencies replied identically that they have not been told by either the Federal Highway Administration or by FEMA that there would be any impact on the grants that we received, 2012 and before. So the grants that we're operating under now, they said they don't have any information from the feds that there's going to be any impact whatsoever on those. There was an article in Engineering News Record yesterday about FEMA cutting back or holding back about 10% on some of their grants, but apparently that's grants yet to be released. So that's where we stand on those.
I might add to Travis' report regarding the Greg Kleiss Community Center. On Friday of last week, Mark Boland and Terry and I toured the facility with City Manager Troy Schulte, Councilman Melba Curls, and Councilman Jermaine Reed. And of course, they were pleased with the progress for all the renovation. But we also looked at the exercise area. We have equipment there that was first installed back when that building was built back about 16 years ago, and some of that's been replaced. But it's due for some new equipment. And I think through the efforts of those two council members and also from the city manager, we're going to probably get some new equipment. We're just kind of working out the details and the finance of that. So it was I think an hour well spent on Friday afternoon.
Great.
At the community center.
Well, that was something I know that they had addressed with us in the past.
Right.
The members of that community center, and that's good to hear. Remind me again, when it comes to equipment for community centers, leasing, purchasing.
We're looking at that. Yeah, we talked about it.
I remember there was going to be some
Yeah, we
examination
talked
into
about
that
it.
issue to see
Good
if we
thing,
can.
and we kind of were talking about it. I think Councilman Reed and I were talking about it kind of on one side of the room, and then Troy Schulte brought it up and mentioned the same thing. And then if we do that, we would be able to look at not just Greg Kleiss, but all of our community centers. And it's really kind of the way to go. It's no different than, the best example today is how you buy computers.
Yep.
I mean, the technology tends to change and they tend to be out, so that way you've always got new equipment. You just enter into a lease purchase kind of a plan. And so, yeah, we're looking into that.
Great, thank you. Because I'm confident that it's not just Greg Kleiss.
No.
Greg Kleiss, that
No,
means
it's-
new equipment.
No, it's all of my,
Great. I see
I
there.
think Councilman Sharp mentioned to you, Alan, is that right?
Hillcrest.
Hillcrest Community Center.
Very good, thank you.
And then marketing, Heidi.
Lots of stuff.
How about the press? Yeah, take as many as you would like. And then this, just take one.
Okay, I'm handing out the 2012 year in reviews, and as I mentioned last meeting, we have plenty of them. So if you want to take a stack back to your co-workers, other organizations that you're members of, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to get you some. So that's the biggest thing that we've finished
recently. We had the three big projects that all were coming in the first 3 months of this year, the first of which was the year-end review, the second of which is the activities guides, which went to the printer today. And we'll be hitting the mailboxes of residents surrounding our community centers in mid-March. I have proofs here if anybody really wants to take a look at the activities guide. You are more than welcome to look at it. But as I've told you also in the past, it's a booklet form this time that has general information about upcoming events, our water parks, our pools and spray grounds, athletics, golf, trails, shelters, wedding locations, Lakeside Nature Center, and our museums, and then inserted in the middle 4 pages is information specific to the community center that mailing is occurring around. So we'll have some overruns as well to distribute to various locations. We'll also be handing them out at the Flower Lawn and Garden Show, which is toward the end of this month. So I'll give you a minute to review the review. And then I've also, the third big project, as we mentioned, is the website. Renovations on our website and overhauling of our website. And I'm passing out a reminder there of what we currently have. And if you want to turn it over, that page, this is what we currently have as far as our website goes, our front page of our website. And if you turn it over,
Voila.
ta-da, that's kind of the look and feel, the clean, big pictures, you know, information easy to find that you're going to see. And this is a changeable photo, and you know there's a lot more to this, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how we were going with the look and the feel of the website. It's really going to be very exciting. Yeah,
Seems to be coming together nicely.
it is.
Where the other fellow commissioners, you have a chance to speak with the consultants, give some feedback. I just want to make sure. I know you presented it out.
Right, they were here the last time. If you were able to stop by,
Yeah,
give them some
that's great.
feedback. Commissioner Gromowski has given me some feedback that I have passed along to them. We're trying, and each of the staff, lots of our staff have met with them individually to go over their concerns and desires and wishes. And these guys have the huge task of pulling it all together and putting it together, making it look good and making it easy to navigate. So we're looking to debut that also between the middle of this month and the end of the month. So when the flyers, the activities guides are hitting the mailboxes, when people go onto our new website, our new URL is kcparks.org. They will come to this, the new site. Currently, you can do kcparks.org, and it goes to this site. So we're starting our transition into promoting our new website as such. Thanks. Okay, a couple of other things. We've been doing some media appearances. Shannon actually was on television on the morning shows yesterday and today talking about parks as wedding venues, since it's kind of, we just completed a National Wedding Month. So, you know, working with the PR firm, Will Gregory's firm, we have been getting a lot more kind of media appearances, proactive appearances like that. We always get the media calls, like for snow and other exciting things like that, but these are kind of fun, positive things that we're going out and talking about. Of course, another fun appearance is our St. Patrick's Day parades, which are coming up a week from this weekend. We have one on Saturday at Brookside, of course, and the big one on Sunday. And if you do want to ride in those, please let me know. We have plenty of room on the float. March the 22nd, we have the groundbreaking for the Cleaver Boulevard project. I still am waiting upon hearing confirmation from Cleaver's office, but I'm assuming we're doing it anyway now. And maybe we can corner him on Friday.
Yeah, he's in town Friday.
Right. And then, of course, that weekend is the Flower Lawn and Garden Show, which we do with the HBA at the Convention Center. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday evening are the landscape awards that we do sponsor. If you want to stop by and help present those on Friday evening at 7, you're more than welcome. And as you know, I've been talking about these things for months. Fountain Day, National Train Day, which keeps getting bigger and better. You're going to have a lot of fun at National Train Day. And then April 13th and 14th are our community center open houses, where the community centers will be showcasing their spring programming options, inviting the communities in for free. They're promoted in the activities guides. They're going to be on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday from 10 to 2 at all of the centers except for Greg Kleiss because it is under construction. They're going to have their own later on. But 10 to 2 at all the centers except for Line Creek. They will have open skate from 2 to 4 on that Saturday. And we'll get you all these details. But then on that Sunday, the six centers now that are open on Sunday? They will be also hosting open houses on Sunday. And those are from 12 to 6. Except for Line Creek, where you can go from 2:20 to 4:20 and do free open skate.
Quick question.
Yes.
Are you going to have this in some sort of electronic
Yes.
version?
Yes, it actually is currently up on our website.
Okay, great.
And I'm going to be posting it up on Facebook. And I will be tweeting out a link. We're now tweeting.
Great.
So at KC Mo Parks.
This has all happened the last few weeks now.
Right.
This is pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, we were Saturday night we were doing this. It
We were
was-
tweeting.
It's interesting.
Oh, Mark and I are basically the only ones following us, but it's kind of fun. We follow each other, and I'll tweet, and I'll be like, you tweet this, retweet this. So we need some more followers.
You know. Is there any more locks on the Red Bridge Bridge?
Oh my gosh, there are over 100 locks on the Red Bridge Bridge. I have one. So that was really cool. I had not been out there since prior to Valentine's Day when we kind of kicked it off, and there were probably a half a dozen locks there. And I went back on this past Saturday just to stop by and see, and it was really cool. It's beautiful. The people decorate their locks. They are, hand painted. They have ribbons on them, and they traipse through 2 feet of snow to get there. Not anymore, thank you, to the guys who went. I hadn't even thought about it. Well, I hadn't even crossed my mind, and I went out there on that Saturday, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do this. But I made it through there. I had my tall boots on, and immediately emailed Forrest and asked if we could do a path. And this was even neater. I think they were out there on Sunday afternoon clearing a path to the bridge, and 4 couples came out during that time they were clearing. So it's really caught on.
This is Heidi and Dan. I'm going to pass that
I don't know who they are. Yeah, National Wedding Month. Well, you can do it at any time, and you can do it in commemoration of an anniversary or an engagement. As I mentioned last time, we did have our first engagement. I did tweet out the lock that said "Marry Me" on it, so it's kind of a fun thing. We've gotten a lot of really positive
Well, it's been a lot
response
of
to
great
it. Yeah,
press on it, too.
and there is an article coming out in the Star, I think this week, on it as well. So
Very good.
get your lock. Lockits.com is donating 20% of their sales back to us. So.
What is it again?
LOCK-ITZ.com. And they're fancy locks.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
that's it.
Very
Thank you.
One other thing I like to do, Commissioners, under Director's Report is, I think we're all aware, the last couple of weeks has been a large taste of winter. And Forrest has been head of the command forces for all that. You want to give us a little update on what's been going on?
I will. We actually started working 2 weeks ago today on snow. It was 2 weeks ago right now. We had a forecast of snow the next day. We started pre-treating. And since then, we have done nothing but snow, literally. We've had a whole lot of 24-hour days, a lot of 12-hour days, 16-hour days. We've just been working around the clock. I can kind of give you a brief update of each event. I've been calling it Snowmageddon. I think somebody else probably called it that on the news too, but I haven't watched the news in about 2 weeks. But started snowing that Tuesday, or that late that Tuesday, early Wednesday morning. That was the first storm where we had, depending on what part of town you're in, we had 11 to 13 inches of accumulation. And if you remember, it came down really, really, really fast. We had about 3 inches an hour for the first couple hours. So it was crazy. We activated our EOC that day. So I spent a lot of time down there the next 2 days, along with Mark was down there some, Tammy Tridico was down there, and had a lot of fun. We ended up plowing on that storm, on that very first one. It took us about 3 days to get all the streets done. So it was pretty significant. We immediately transitioned into a hauling operation. We were hauling snow from the downtown, assisting Public Works and the Water Department. Took us 2 more days to do that. We worked on that all weekend, that very first storm. And the following Monday, when we would have been trying to clear up a little more sidewalks and a little more of the downtown and everything, well, it started snowing again. So we started pre-treating that day, worked into the second snow event that actually started Tuesday the 26th. That was a little less, depending on where you were at. I think the north got a little less snow, more like 8 to 9 inches in the north, but in the far south of the city, it was another 12 to 13 inches in places. So in a 6-day stretch, we had, depending on where you were at, from 20 to 25 inches of snow. Just a lot of snow on the ground. It took us a few days to plow to that. Then we immediately started working into clearing off sidewalks, park roads, golf courses, you name it, hitting slick spots around town. Starting this last weekend, we switched to kind of a 2-phase operation. We worked on clearing park sidewalks all day, hauling from the downtown again all night, and did that Saturday and Sunday. And then we just kept right on going into the sidewalks at that point, working 12-hour shifts right now on sidewalk control, or sidewalk removal.
Starlight says thank you for all the plowing we did over in that area. They're
Good.
really grateful.
It's nice to hear a few thank yous.
Forrest, you might also mention the second snow was a heavy wet snow and it brought down the tree branches.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. We had a whole lot of tree branches down, and it didn't reach out what I would call disaster proportions. I mean, we've had some pretty big windstorms in the last few years. This one we ended up having 200, 250 or so in the streets. So we did call in some extra emergency crews from out of town with our tree contractor to assist our in-house staff and going around and just clearing all the streets. And we had all the arterials opened up the first day while it was still snowing, transitioned into residentials the next day, had all those open by the second day. So now we're still in the process of going back and picking up those trees. We just kind of set them off to the side just to open the street. But we're nearing completion on that. During that time, Kansas City had, I think at one time we had 51,000 people without power that first day. So Mark opened up his community centers for 2 nights, right? 2 nights as emergency shelters, opened up Southeast Community Center. So got a few fun facts for you if you're interested.
Yes.
I kind of calculated out what we had removed by just with our park staff during these 2 events. It comes out to 6,195,000 cubic feet of snow, which weighed 92 million pounds, or 46,500 tons. So a lot of snow. Any questions
Yeah,
you
I
would
would
have?
comment that I was downtown during that first snow with my wife at her work. I brought her in that day.
Aren't you
And looking down over Gillum, the first snow plows I saw were parks.
Oh, parks, good.
Absolutely. They were out early when it was coming down at 2 to 3 inches an hour.
Yeah, we all were. That first storm was totally different than the second storm. I know the second one was almost as bad in places.
It was pretty.
But the people in town really listened to our warnings the second storm, and they didn't get out. That first one, we had so many stuck vehicles all over town. It was hard just to get our plows around, without running into a stuck vehicle. But the second one, if, we watch all the cameras down at the EOC, it was a ghost town. There was nobody out, which made our jobs a ton easier.
Other than total exhaustion, were there any problems?
Well, yeah, they'd been working, they'd already had 80 hours under their belt by then, but, yeah. We have put in, to date, we've put in about 16,000 man-hours just on snow removal.
So my funny story about
Pardon me?
snow. Oh, no, finish up.
Very minor, yeah.
So my funny story about snow is, Channel 4 sits right there on Traffic Way and Southwest, Traffic Way at 31st Street and Roanoke and all that. I mean, not Roanoke, Carnes Boulevard. And so they're on TV talking, and they're showing this car struggling getting up the Traffic Way, and
It was you?
no, it wasn't me. No, it gets funny. So they were like, "Oh, we're going to try to help this car out, so whatever." And then they come back and they said, "Oh, did you get that car?" And I said, "Yeah, we did. We turned them up into the street right here. It goes into this neighborhood, Coleman, and that street's just clean as can be because they were talking about Carnes Boulevard." And I wanted to call so bad. I mean, it's because of Parks. Clean Carnes Boulevard. But it was like for 5 minutes they just keep showing this poor car.
Yeah.
Just going like this on the traffic way. And they finally get him on Carnes and then he just sails.
They showed that one on TV?
Yeah, they showed it on
That's
TV.
good.
So.
There's a lot of ambulances and buses they showed on TV too. Yeah, one time we had over 60 ATA buses stuck during that first
Oh, I
storm.
can imagine. Well, great job to you and your crews and, and just well done all the way around and just fantastic job, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for the update, Mark, and thank you for,
Yep.
well, really, truly appreciate it. And if you can get us any more fun facts, I know we have a tweeter over here and, Facebook accounts. We love to put that stuff out there and let people remind them of the great work that our Parks Department does.
47,000 tons, just
There you
rounded
go.
up. It's a lot of snow.
There you go. Thank you. All right, there is nobody on the public hearing, so calendar.
Yes, Commissioners, looking to tomorrow, it's Mayor's Prayer Breakfast time, and I think everybody's probably talked to Carmen about that. You may have your own table, or you're part of the Parks table, and they're again at 7:30 in the morning. And City of Fountains Foundation Board meeting tomorrow. Commissioner Sharon, if that...
Yes, that's going to be a challenge. I'm going to be there probably only for about the first 40 minutes or so, and I got to run to another meeting.
Something else I'll mention, tomorrow morning, and I made a comment earlier on it, the City Finance Committee is going to be looking at an ordinance on Liberty Memorial. This is the follow-up to the one we had before that Lana put together for us on $3 million. I guess that's all good to go, Lana, is that true? You've talked to the committee chair and everything? So I'll mention that as far as another item on the agenda. And then also tomorrow afternoon, there is an item on P&Z committee that deals with the closeout of the Winchester TIF that we've talked about a lot, and I think everybody's probably read in the media that the mayor was successful in working out a compromise on that. And so now that's been put in the form of an ordinance that'll go before the P&Z committee tomorrow afternoon. We've been working on it at that staff level to kind of work on the details of that, so we'll be there to testify on that also.
Great.
Tomorrow afternoon. A couple other things I wanted to mention. We've got some proposals that came in related to all of our summer activities, and Terry or Mark might want to comment on this. Those all came in on Friday, and where do we stand on that, Terry?
We had 2 proposals for Club KC and 2 proposals for Mayor's Night Kicks, 1 proposal for Mayor's Night Nets, and we're reviewing those, and probably we'll be sitting down with the proposers, I think at the end of the week.
Great.
Yeah.
Get that lined up, and then, as you probably know, we're going to do Mayor's Night Hoops in-house this year. So,
That's great.
Was Roosevelt out for that? I guess he was, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He's at the meeting today.
Good. Also, we got some proposals in to do some work on our greenhouse, and we were talking earlier that I think Dave, you wanted to help out on that a little bit as far as getting someone to help. Our greenhouse we determined was built about the turn of the century, so we get someone on board to do some design work for that. And then I know, shifting back to week ago Monday, Alan was here to help us out on our selection of the consultant for the Northland Community Center study. And Steve is following up on that with the consultants, and we'll get something going on that. And anyway, that's kind of where we're on a few proposals that are out there right now.
Sorry.
That pretty well does it.
Great. Well, we thank you. Thanks, everybody. And with that, meeting is adjourned.